Welcome back to Movies TV Man and welcome to Friday's edition of the DCU Daily. Why not suggest this channel and my platforms to a friend? Why don't you say, hey mate, that Mick from Movies TV Man, he does daily videos about DC movies, sometimes TV, very passionate. His dad worked in the industry, he knows what he's talking about. He's very, very handsome. Why not give him a subscribe? Why not like his videos? Why not comment on his videos? He reads all the comments. Now, what I suggest is, don't tell your wives and your girlfriends about me because they're going to fall in love, then start secretly messaging me. And I love you guys. I love my geek nerd bros. I would never want to break up your relationship. Anyway, very warm welcome. And today we're asking the question, is a Wonder Woman movie being fast-tracked by DC Studios and Warner Brothers Discovery? Now, according to Access Media, that's the case. That a Wonder Woman movie is being fast-tracked. Now, what Gunn actually said was that as soon as he gets a good script, which is always the blag that he says to sound professional and better than everyone else in New Hollywood, once he gets a new script, basically Wonder Woman and Brave and the Bold will go straight into development and into production. They took that to being they're fast tracking a movie. Can we believe them? You can't believe a word. Warner Brothers Discovery, David Zaslav, James Gunn, Peter Safran, or anyone part of those studios are saying to you, because they will say absolutely anything to get your butts back in the cinema re-watching Superman or watching Superman for the first time. So no, you can't believe a word that they're saying. What we know is next month Peacemaker 2 arrives on the geo-locked HBO Max. So if that's available to you and you're interested, you can watch that. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, or Supergirl, is coming out next year. More on that in a minute. Lanterns is coming out, so they say, next year. So that's what we know. And they're going to make a Clayface movie. When people say to me, what's your most anticipated DCU movie, if you've actually got one? Well, if this studio, if DC Studios and WB was run by trustworthy, competent people, I'd say Clayface. A horror DC movie, R-rated, that's part of DCU. Wow, take my money now. But I don't trust these people to do what they say they're going to do. The reality is they've been spending the last week trying to convince you that they're happy with the box office of Superman. They've been doing creative accounting. They've been lying about beating Man of Steel. When someone tells you they're very, very happy with something or someone, they are lying. It's a bit like on Instagram. When all those dames say, I love my boy, I love my man, I don't need any other man. Here's a picture of me and my boy, candlelit dinner. He's amazing, don't need anyone else. They are lying. When people repeat themselves constantly all the time. Mickey's Law, 506. When people are repeating themselves, I'm saying, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. I'm happy with the box office of this movie. I'm happy with my man. They're not happy. Those dames are looking for guys to cheat on the man they're apparently happy with in the DMs on Instagram. Believe me, I've experienced it. So Warner Brothers Discovery, Zaslav are fucking nervous. This film has collapsed in China. Man of Steel did better in China specifically. The domestic box office, and they keep on lying about breaking this record and that record and the other record. It's stat padding of the highest level. And if you can't see through that and you believe that this movie is actually successful and Warner Brothers Discovery are happy about it, you haven't been paying attention, right? So it's time for you to start paying attention. We've already spoken how Gal Gadot came out to the media and said that she'd spoken to Safran and Gunn, and they said, trust us, Gal. We want to develop a Wonder Woman 3 with you. What happened to that? Now Gunn, since he started promoting this movie, he's talking about a new Wonder Woman, a new movie. He wasn't even talking about a Wonder Woman movie before. Suddenly, he wants a Wonder Woman movie because Zaslav made that promise from the very beginning, that the main linchpins of the DCU would be Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. When they only announced Paradise Lost, which is a Wonder Woman prequel story, we all were mystified. Why are we getting this stupid streaming show? Where's a Wonder Woman movie? And suddenly, we're getting it. You see, when Warner Brothers Discovery, when Discovery took over WB and went into partnership with AT&T, who are still the majority shareholders, by the way, and I can tell you exclusively, they're certainly not happy with the Superman box office, and heads, my friends, are going to roll very soon when the playground quietens down. But more on that at a later date. So, you know, what the situation is it's really, really interesting because, you know, they tried to tell us that they wanted to go back to being like the old Warner Brothers. So they tried to convince us that they were going to make a really brilliant Superman movie. A Superman movie that they could be proud of and we could be proud of, and that could maybe make $1 billion, $2 billion. That's the kind of aroma they were throwing out there, spraying in our faces, that they wanted to go back to the old style Warner Brothers. And that's all they had to do. Get competent talent who could deliver a great Superman movie. It's still my belief, if you make a great, non-divisive Superman movie, it can make $800 to $1 billion. I think there's interest in Superman. I don't think there's an issue with Superman. There's an issue with the way Superman movies are being made. And just for the folks at the back, yes, I do love Man of Steel and BVS, but they were divisive. And it was their divisiveness that held them back from making more box office bank for the studio, and that's what killed the Snyderverse ultimately. It's an entertainment industry, not an entertainment charity. Actually, talking about an entertainment charity, John Campea did a video saying exactly this, that Superman never had to break even. As I said, I didn't realize that Warner Brothers Discovery were a non-profit organization, a charity organization, John. But these people are working for this studio. They're sending this message. Imagine being a current day industry saying, well, you know what? We never had to make money. James Gunn saying, we don't have to make $700 million. That's nonsense. We don't have to make money. Of course you do. Do you think this studio went to the efforts of giving you the fucking money? Like 225, and I think it was more than that anyway, and now they're adding on another 30 million to 130 million marketing campaign. I think even that was more. The other day Variety said it was only 100 million. Now they've added another 30 million. The lies and the lies to protect this movie from Access Media. And you know, what did they say the other day? Record-breaking Tuesday. They were saying that it made about 17 million in one day. The reality is we can't even believe a fucking word they're telling us about the box office. But there's one thing they can't lie about, because you can stat pad, you can play with the stats and the facts, but the total is what I'm waiting for. And the total is going to be very, very interesting. So the countdown continues. But I believe that they're not happy with this movie one little bit. And we're still in the position, because I promised you I would elaborate on Supergirl, which used to be Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. There could be a situation where that film isn't released. There could be a situation where Lanterns won't be released. There could be a situation where Clayface actually doesn't get made after all. Why did Gunn fast track a poster for a film a year before it's released to try and force Warner Brothers Discovery to keep their promise of releasing this movie? Because Gunn knows Zaslav. Gunn is in trouble. Gunn's job, Gunn's position is in trouble, because that was the idea of this Superman movie, to make bank, to make record-breaking money, and no matter what they tell you on social media, it hasn't. It's been a failure. Now, domestically, as we say, it's done slightly better than the other comic book kind of cape shit lately. But that's not good enough. They greenlit this movie to make record-breaking money. This was going to relaunch WB as the new WB Discovery. And all they had to do was make a great movie. But instead, they do what these used car salesmen do with New Hollywood today, which is think that they can insult you, the public, the audience's intelligence. Things like John Campea's video that Superman never needed to break even. And they sound so convincing the way they're breaking up the figures, but we know it's bollocks. All businesses want to make maximum profit, right? And isn't it interesting? When Man of Steel was going out there, people like Campea were saying, well, Man of Steel hasn't made enough money. Well, that's interesting. You've changed your fucking tune. Now the studio's probably encouraging you to say that we never wanted to make money. What was it one person at WB said? All we wanted was for people to enjoy a movie. Well, most people haven't enjoyed this movie. Yes, the Sims, the Shills are saying it's the bestest movie ever, but most people have not enjoyed this movie, including me. There's bits I enjoyed from it, but the Superman bits, which are the whole fucking point of the movie, I did not enjoy in the slightest. So this film is an absolute failure, and as I say, they will say anything to keep you interested. So now all of a sudden they're fast-tracking a Wonder Woman movie, according to the press. Now, by the way, as I said earlier, that's not what Gunn said. Gunn said when the script's ready, which is a great little excuse, which means nothing ever has to happen, right? Because if the script's never ready, then a film doesn't happen, right? It's what he did when he did that, like that press event. Do you remember when he tried to explain why they were like, you know, back-ending a lot of these projects and basically cancelling and delaying a lot of these projects? Well, here at DC Studios, we don't just do films without scripts. If they're not right, we don't go ahead with them. Which is common sense, right? But it's not true. It's just a scam. Because the reality is that DC Studios and its slate, Gods and Monsters, was always a facade. It was about making Warner Brothers Discovery a purchasable entity. Because they want to sell it. Probably piece by fucking piece. Zaslav is the biggest used car salesman there, and he's failed to reignite this studio. It's as simple as that. Because when you live in a modern day industry that's about conning the public, about giving an old banger a paint job instead of giving someone a brand new car, you're in fucking trouble. Yesterday we found out another studio has enlisted Taika Waititi, the director of Thor Ragnarok, to make a Judge Dredd fucking movie. Who in their right fucking mind gets Taika Waititi, one of the biggest troll writer-directors, to make Judge Dredd? Who thinks, I know, Taika Waititi, Judge fucking Dredd? Nobody. But this is where we are today. And when I watch, when I rewatch old TV shows and old movies, I feel sad. Because those people gave a shit. And these people don't fucking give a shit. And that's where Superman, this movie Superman, came from. By people who don't give a fucking shit. Because the reality is that the DCU by James Gunn and Safran is dead in the water. It's dead before it started. And when this movie's out of cinemas, when it's had its digital releases and its physical media releases down the line, then heads are gonna fucking roll. So Peacemaker 2 coming out was always gonna come out because even if Gunn wasn't the co-CEO of DC Studios, that project was happening. But the other projects, Lanterns, Supergirl, Clayface, could still be withdrawn and withheld from release. We know that Zaslav has done it before with Batgirl. We know he attempted to do it with that Looney Tunes movie and they actually sold it. So Zaslav can't be trusted. Yes, he came out saying how excited he is for this 10-year plan. There isn't a 10-year plan. There isn't even a 1 minute fucking plan. It's all bullshit. But you're going to have to be patient until they roll this film out on, digital, physical, and once they've got as much as they can from it, that's when heads are going to begin to roll.